Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Hey everybody, that was my oldest daughter Susie wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I can say Merry Christmas because today, when this video is coming out, is January 5th. This is the night before Epiphany. So it is the last day of Christmastide, or the 12th night of Christmas. Now, instead of doing a normal full-length video on the Bible and the Eucharist, I wanted to just talk to you guys for a minute about Christmas and the Eucharist, because I think it's really important to think about this. In some of my previous videos, I've been talking about the presence of God in the Old Testament, and especially related to the Ark of the Covenant and the temple, right? And I've told you, I've suggested that the Ark and the temple represent or house or contain or bring God's presence on earth in the Old Testament in a very, very strong way, right? But none of the Old Testament passages about the Ark or about the temple said anything like this: "For in him the whole fullness of deity dwells bodily, and you have come to fullness of life in him, who is the head of all rule and authority." That is from Colossians chapter 2, verse 9. And that is what we as Christians believe about Jesus. In him, the whole fullness of deity dwells bodily. Right? And that is what we celebrate at Christmas. If you put up a Christmas tree, if you put out a nativity set, if you give gifts, if you bake cookies, if you wear matching cheesy family pajamas, then you are celebrating the fact that the fullness of God dwells bodily in Christ. And this is what I want to ask you to think about. How are the claims about the Eucharist any more radical than that? Right? If the fullness of deity can dwell bodily in tiny infant baby Jesus, and you believe this and you celebrate it, then why is it any harder to believe that the fullness of deity can dwell in bread and wine? Right? So I just want to invite you to reflect as Christmastide ends and as we go into Epiphany-tide, that if we believe that God came to earth at Christmas, why do we have trouble believing that he continues on earth in bread and wine? Doesn't it make a lot more sense to think that when he came to earth to dwell with us bodily, that he would stay with us bodily? To me, that makes a lot more sense than thinking that he came and then left. That's it for today. I'll see you again next Friday, and may God bless you this Epiphany.